and good morning on this lovely bright and sunny Tuesday morning. Or at least it is here anyway. I know there's meant to be rain further up north, but here it is a bright and sunny day. Sorry, bear with me while I just refresh my computer, which doesn't want to play ball. Okay, let's see if it's going to work now. Hurrah! I'll just give everybody a chance to join. Let's get up. There we go. Okay. So I hope you can hear me okay. I didn't think to check my volume. Yay! Morning. Morning Susan. Morning Leslie. Morning Katie. Morning Jill. Beautiful day even in Yorkshire. Yay! Excellent. Morning Philippa. Hi Virginia. Hi Dream. Hi Susan. Hi Sandy. Oh, even after you cancelled your golf. How annoying, eh? Hi Eleanor. Okay. Sound is good. Excellent. Thanks a lot, Philippa. Hi Christine. Hi Sue. Okay. Morning Helen. Hi Betty. Right, so we are gone one now, aren't we? Gone one. Gone one. I hope not. Where did the morning go? Time flies as it is. We've gone 9 o'clock. Okay, so I wanted to... morning Catherine. Right, I'm going to stop saying good morning. I'm going to concentrate on what I'm going to do, okay? So good morning to anybody else who joins me who I don't say good morning to. Morning Sue. Okay, so wanted to come on and share with you a card using the Heartfelt Sunflower, but I wanted to use it in a different way so that it doesn't have to be for every day, it can be for Christmas too. So let me flip the camera and I'll show you what I'm going to be using. Okay, bear with me while I get everything. I really want to bring my camera down a bit, but it's got a mind of its own. Even if it was over a little bit, it would be better. Okay, let's put my bits of paper there to get rid of that light, and this light I'll move the stamp so you'll be able to see in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to be using, sorry, bear with me, my computer's, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to be using, I do like to be able to see what you're seeing, so yeah, okay. If I push that up there a little bit, should get rid of that rubbish at the top. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to do this card, but I'm going to do it slightly different because I was making it last night and finishing it this morning, and I really wanted to heat emboss it, but for some reason I did this onto watercolour card, and the embossing powder, even though I used my anti-static bag, was just sticking everywhere. So I've done it onto Super Smooth this morning, dried them, and it's heat embossed absolutely beautifully. So I'm going to use Gold Wow's Metallic Gold Rich Pale regular embossing powder with my embossing pad. Obviously I created the red background using Distress Mica Stain, and this one is Peppermint Stick, and I sprayed just a few this morning. And I wanted to show you because these ones I did with the piece of card standing up, and this one I did with it laying down, and I really can see where my 4 sprays have gone, if you like, whereas when I've stood the card up in my box and done it, got a much better result. So I would highly recommend standing your card up. So what I've got, I don't know if you better see it actually, I keep a cardboard box that I cut the sides down, and instead of usually, so to get the splodgy one I did it like that, and to get the better ones I stood it up in my box and then I sprayed it. I left them to dry for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or so, just naturally, let them air dry. And then I've heated them, but look, they're lovely and flat, so really good. It's very good just on your card. Not too much warping, so can highly recommend that. So so then I thought, I fancy doing like really soft pink. Isn't that gorgeous? How lovely is that? It's not quite dry. I've only literally done this 2 minutes before I came to air. This one is Winterberry, but how lovely is that? I thought soft pinks of the doing the sunflower in soft pink, and then maybe doing my background in slightly different greens as well. So I might do that later. Once we finish, not on air, I don't mean. Like, I might actually make that because I thought it was rather pretty in that soft pink. So using Distress Mica Stain, I've used my Layers, Frames and Banners rectangle die. I've used my Merry, and I've used Hazel's Christmas from her Christmas border. Oh, that's upside. Oh, it must have been upside down when I stamped it. This is from Hazel's Christmas border stamp set. And then obviously I have also used the sunflower, the Heartfelt Sunflower, which is from the new collection. And I've used the stripes from my stencil to create my background. So this is what gave me the plaid. When I said that the other day, I thought, instead of just talking about it, I've got to make one. So I thought I'd make a lovely plaid background. So I used peeled paint for this one and pine needles. So they're the two distressed oxides that I'm going to be using as well. Okay, so I'm going to clear the decks and let's make a start. And at the end I will share actually some of the cards that were made using this Heartfelt Sunflower, because I wanted to show you how versatile it is. I thought this was lovely for a Christmas card, and it's not a Christmas stamp, so, but there you go, just goes to show you, doesn't it? So I've got my stamp in here already, and I've obviously done these in advance and dried them, because if you want to heat emboss it, it's got to be dry, at least. Always use my anti-static bag. You can see you're going to get a little bit of colour come off, but I would always use an anti-static bag because I'm terrible at touching the card. Going to use my WOW embossing pad and ink my stamp up. Nice lot of ink. And this is onto smooth card, just like regular card. Make sure it's in case you want to stamp it again. I have got it quite low down. I could have moved it up a little bit because I did actually get quite good spraying right up to the edge, but I did make sure that I got enough room to do my Merry as well. So do think about that. Okay, I think that will probably be okay. Pop that out. Let's get rid of that. And got a piece of card. And so this is the rich, I always get the name wrong, metallic gold rich pale embossing powder. Lovely. So gentle tap the excess off. You can see that it's only where I want it to be, so that's great. Hasn't stuck. Last night it just stuck all over the card. I can only think that because it was the watercolour card, maybe it would take longer to dry, because there's no reason why you can't use watercolour card and then heat emboss, because you can obviously heat emboss over the top of the mica stain, distress mica stains. So I don't know why the watercolour card didn't work, I have to say. So I'm going to use my heat tool on setting number 2, and I'm going to have to do it from above because of how close the camera is. I'm going to come in and hopefully I will catch, so that you can see that lovely powder melting, and as soon as it starts to melt, and move the heat source away from it. Just go round systematically Don't wave your heat tool around, keep it nice and still, and just go all the way around until all that powder is melted. And then I always check, so I just hold it up to the light and make sure you can't see any powder, because the temptation is to touch it, but it's actually quite warm at the moment. So yeah, you don't want to touch it until you let this, just waft it a couple of times, and then it'll cool down. Okay, so that's looking lovely. So I take my scissors, I'm going to pop my piece of card there, just so that it actually, I'll put the card there rather than that, just so it gets rid of that horrible light, but we need it because so that you can see everything. Okay, so I have already done one, so I've got my base layer. So now what I'm doing is cutting out just the petals that have got the hearts in them. So I tend to make things as small as possible first, so I'm going to cut that extra piece off, and that will do my Mary. And then I'm going to come in, and I do leave a little bit of a border, but I am cutting this closer than I would normally, because I'm trying to, I want to follow the lines of the other flower. I don't want too much of the other background bits of embossing showing. So I'm only cutting the petals with the hearts in them. And I am going down into the centre because I want to curl and shape them afterwards. So you don't want to go too close to the embossing because it can ping off, but you want to go close enough so that we lose those background petals. Okay, so just going to work our way around. Obviously you want to take your time, you don't want to rush too much because you don't want to mess. Having embossed everything, you don't want to spoil it or cut a petal off or something. Right, I'm trying to read. Okay, I was trying to read a comment, but I will go in afterwards and read any comments that there are. I know Philippa is watching. I don't know if anybody else, I didn't spot anybody else from the design team. But I know Philippa's watching, so Philippa's always really good at answering questions. But yeah, I will read all the comments afterwards and get back to anybody if I need to. I just thought that this was a really nice way of showing that this flower, even though it's an everyday flower, perfect for birthdays, thinking of you, get well, anniversary, anything really, sympathy even, if you did it, would look lovely white embossed onto white, and then, oh, that would look nice actually, and then layered up. So it'd be lovely for a sympathy card. But I wanted to show as well that, you know, it's perfect for Christmas. Okay, so we've got our flower there. I'm going to get rid of those bits. And then I'm going to curl and shape my petals a little bit, just using my pokey tool and my thumb, just to score. Well, I'm really like curling them around the tool, a bit like you curl the ribbon. And then I use my thumb and lift those petals up, but stop it going any further, lifting up any further than into the middle. So now we've got that nice dimension for that flower, which can sit in the centre of this one. Okay, so I'll glue that together and then we'll do our background. So, and I'm going to offset this. So it's just making it look nice and full. I need to get my head over the top of that. Can't see if it's in. Yeah, that's lovely. So you've got a really lovely full flower there. And how different does it look embossed, actually, as opposed to it being in the black? Looks totally different, doesn't it? Okay, so we will do our stenciling next. So because I don't want to, when I did this, I ended up going over the edge a little bit of my stencil and getting a mark on my card, which you can't see because you're going to do lines anyway. But I don't want to be getting this pattern down here. So I'm going to take a piece of the tape that I used the other day that is still on my mat and just protect that first part of the stencil. So I'm not going to come down any further than that, or I shouldn't. And then I'm also going to protect, I don't want to get any diamonds on it either. So now that is ready to be used. So I'm going to, shall we do it on, I did do it on this, I did it on my silicone mat. I do like this because it actually does hold it a little bit in place. Okay. Oh, did I hit the camera then? Oh, I did a little bit. I'm sorry. I do apologise. There we go. Right. So I need a piece of card. And I've got my stencil and I've got my heart on the right side. And I'm going to place this down. It's good because you can use the corners if you want to stop it moving. And I'm going to start with pine needles and my blending brush. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a lot of nice, load my brush up. So I've got a nice lot of ink on there. And then I'm going to come in. Now with this stencil, you need to go in lines. Okay, you can't do circular motions because these are too fragile. They'll move around and you won't get nice stripes then. So you want to go up and down. And because I've loaded my brush up, I can go quite gently as I'm putting that colour on. Okay, and then I can move my card up a little bit and I can bring it down, overlap it so that I know I've got my pattern right. And you obviously want to try and keep it as straight as possible. We can like straighten it up when we do the die cutting. I didn't do a very good job with the one I did this morning, but I will try better this time. I was hurrying, if I'm honest. Okay, so we can do our second part. Don't worry about, whoops, this bit here showing where you've overlapped them. Because we're going to be doing our stripes the other way, we'll make sure that we get a stripe that's going to cover that up. So then I'll put it against the edge. So I'll do it about the same place, line it up roughly. Make sure you've got a nice straight line again. And then we can add. Now I haven't had to reload, whoops, my brush yet. And I don't really, I might for the last one, but I'm trying to keep the colour sort of even. The amount of ink that I'm getting down for this colour. Okay, so that looks okay. Then again, just up and down, following the lines. See, this is what I did last time. I went too far over the edge. So I should go up and then I should come down. But it will get covered up when I do my lines the other way. So don't worry too much if that does happen to you. So we can turn the card around. Oh, first of all, let's clean pine needles off. I know it's still going to be green, but we don't really want, we want to be able to see the difference in the peel paint to the pine needles. Okay, so load our brush up again. Nice lot of ink. And then we can put our piece of card the other way. So if I'm going to go here, we'll be fine. It'll get covered up. So make sure you've got nice and straight. So I'm using the edge of my card to try and keep that straight. And then again, up and down. Now you're going to get the peel paint. You're going to cover up some of your pine needles, but the peel paint is going to make a different colour when it touches the pine needles. I just love it. I think it's fantastic. I really do. Okay, so I'm overlapping that a bit more this time so that I don't go over the edge of the stencil, because this is a much shorter part of the card, obviously. And then just gently again, build the colour up. Don't try to add all your colour in one go. Do try and build it up. I just, don't you think that is brilliant? Oh, I can see us doing this so much with this stencil. I think this stencil is going to be so useful. Okay, so I'm going to get it over that bit of ink bit, making sure I can use the edge of the stencil on the edge of this one to make sure I've got it roughly lined up. Let's see if we can get away with not adding any more ink to my brush at the moment. I might need to, but we will see. Okay, so then I can move that up, and this time again, move the stencil up so you're not running the risk of going over the top here. So you're just using that little bottom part of the stencil to add the next lot of colour. And we're trying to blend that in nicely. Oh, it's just brilliant. I love it. Sorry. But I do love it when something works. Okay, so the next one, again, line up the edge of your stencil with a stripe that you can see. All right, don't push too hard because you're going to move your card otherwise. Okay, I thought it had moved, but it hasn't. It's okay. Right, so again, move the top part of your stencil so you're just really using the bottom part to add that final bit of colour. Okay. How cool is that? I think that deserves some hearts. I really love that. Okay, that works so well. Let's get rid of this. Let's just clean this off. I know it's probably all over the back of my card, but it won't matter because I'm going to chop it down and cover it up. So yeah, it is. Isn't that cool? And we made that. Right, actually clean this off as well, sorry. I do love it when you can do, I just think it's actually the fact that I made it myself. Yeah, I could buy plaid pattern paper, but yeah, the fun of making it yourself. And by putting those bits of tape down there, that really helped without getting any of those other patterns on it as well. So I would highly recommend doing that. Well, let's put my card back down. Get rid of that horrible light again. Move my mat off. So now we've got our piece ready, and I'm going to die cut this. So now is the time when you can use the die and your lines to make sure you get it reasonably straight. So let's use a bit of this tape. I know I've got my magnetic sheet in, but I'm in my die cutting machine, but I'm still going to use some tape. So just make sure that you've got nice straight edges down those two sides. And I'm just going to die cut this. So I've got my base plate and my cutting. Hang on, I just saw something on there. That was inside of my letter. And I'm going to put it on wonky so it doesn't have to go through. It's not trying to go through my machine straight, so it won't make that horrible noise. So just pass that through. Okay, so now we've got, can take the tape off. Oh, it's cut through it, so it's still going to be stuck. Let's get rid of the back piece. And then I tend to loosen one corner. There we go. Once I've got one corner off, I can just run my fingers round. It's where the embossing is for the little circles, so it catches it. But oh, how cool does that look? Oh, love it. Okay, so we've got our backing, we've got our flower. So now I'm going to cut the Mary from the bit of red, from the piece of red that we had left. So bear with me while I just die cut this. Okay, so take the middle out. I love this die because you just give it a whack and out it pops, and oh, how lovely is that? I've got to show you that. How beautiful is it? And it's all shimmery as well. So just like the flower's all shimmery and embossed. So it just looks, oh, it looks very luxurious. Okay, so because I've done the Mary, I do like to cut another couple so that I can layer them together. I like them to be a bit dimensional. And I find, because I did 3 layers on this one, so there's 2 white layers and then the red, and it's much more of an embellishment that way. So that is one. I did mean to cut these before we came to air, but I got carried away with spritzing pink. Yeah, I got carried away with spritzing the pink mica stain. Right, sorry, I've just seen a comment. You could use that frame too. Yes, I could. I don't know what I've done with it. Did I throw it away already? Gosh, that was a bit quick, wasn't it? Yes, I could, definitely. Did I throw it? I did. You could. I could easily use that frame because it's actually not a bad, I could chop a little bit off the bottom. It's actually quite an even frame. Okay, so now we've got our 3 Marys. So let's join those together, move that out of the way because I want to get glue on that. And I still haven't, I can't find a little sponge dauber, but I will do because I saw somebody put some glue out and then they used a little sponge dauber just to touch all over their small die cuts. And I thought that that was a really good idea of applying glue. And then if you rinse it out each time you finish using it, you'd be able to just have 1 sponge dauber for glue. I must find myself a little mini dauber. Okay, so I line those up first of all and firm that down, and then some more glue. I just put a couple of dots in each of the letters, to be honest, and then layer it up. Because where you've put dots down, as you push it together, it's obviously going to squidge out and cover more of an area anyway. But just take your time just to line those all up because I don't want the white border showing. I could have done it out of red card and then it wouldn't show at all. I could go around with a red felt tip pen if I wanted to. Oh, I'm going to stick it on my card now. Okay, so I'm actually going to put the card base onto my card first of all. Now, I didn't do that for me this morning, and so I'm trying to push it down where I've got the flower and everything else. So it's much better if we put this directly onto our card before we turn it into, before we've layered it all up. Sorry. Right, let me just, I'm just thinking, I wonder what it would look like on a square card. So let's just have a try. Let's just score a square card and see what it looks like. And then we'll decide whether it's square or a 7x5. It might just be nice to have something. See, yeah, I could. Or do I prefer it? I don't mind it on there, actually. I think that's a really nice, no, No, I'm going to do it on here. I'm going to do it on here. But I've just realised I haven't stamped my sentiment. So again, rather than trying to squeeze everything in, I'm not going to take my poinsettia, my sunflower out, because I'm going to do that pink card. I might as well leave it in. I'll just use this side of it. And I'm going to use Hazel's Christmas again because it was really lovely. It's a really lovely, solid, like a statement stamp. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to line it up. Sorry about my head if it's in the way. So I'm going to line that up. Oh, it was really in the way. I am sorry. Going to line that up in the bottom there and pick my stamp up. Then I'm going to come in with my anti-static bag and make sure I wipe it. Oh, because this ink, I haven't dried the ink, have I? And because we use distressed oxides, it can stay wet for a long time. So if this goes all horrible, we will see. If it does, I'm going to show you a way of getting around it. So if you stamp something on a piece of card, and when you come and put your embossing powder on, if the embossing powder sticks where you don't want it to stick, now I'm only going to put my embossing powder over that very bottom bit where the Christmas is, because there is a chance. Oh no, it's fine. If it did stick, I'd get a dry brush and I would brush it all off and I would start again, and I would heat set the card, heat it with my tool until it was dry. And you can do a little test of just sprinkling some powder on and seeing if it stays put, and that just means that the ink isn't dry, so you need to heat it again. So let's get my embossing tool nice and hot and then come in and start with melting the powder. And this really is such a lovely statement sentiment that it will show beautifully on my card. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I'm going to put this, let's just waft it to get it cool. Make sure I've got my card up the right way. I'm going to glue this down. And that means that I'm going to, because there's nothing on it, my flower or the sentiment, it means I can really use my fingers to really flatten it and get it nicely adhered to my card. So, like my good friend Hazel says, make sure you just spend a little bit of time around those edges. Really get those edges firm down. That's lovely. And that's nice and flat now onto my card. I'm going to place my flower, I'm going to glue my Mary down. So again, just a little bit of glue. And this is much more substantial now. This is like an embellishment now because of all those lovely layers. And I'm going to place that down above the Christmas. Again, let me stand up and do it so I don't get my head in the way. Making sure I've got that lined up. Okay, and then I need a couple of foam pads on the back here for my flower. Take my backing off. And then we can offset our flower. Obviously going to have it overhanging. Okay, and then all you need, first of all, is to get my glue bottle. That's it. All we need now is some beautiful red glosses. Let's have these big ones. And I'm going to have a couple. I'm going to put 3 big ones and then 3 medium size. There we go. So we've got a square version that's got gold embossing on it and the gold embossed sentiment, and we've got the black version with black embossed sentiment, but just black stamped. But again, they're both the Distress Mica Stain, the peppermint colour, and obviously the Distressed Oxides with my stencil to create that lovely background. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, I'll move these to one side. I just wanted to show you, these are, so using the sunflower stamp, these are just some of the beautiful cards that the design team made. So Jo has done this one where she's cut out a beautiful softer colour to go on the top, but again it's shimmery, it's embossed, and I love how she did the Eyes Ink glitter paint. This is Marion's baby wipe technique with the sunflower, which I'm going to have a go at that. This was my sunflower. This is with watercolour pencils. It's another one of Marion's where she's used the embossing powder and she's masked the centre so she could put her wording down. This beautiful one from Philippa as well, where she's got the Tim Holtz Distress watercolour pencils in the background, and then I love the black and the colours in between, just beautiful. And then my acetate one, where I've used the sunflower embossed in white, but then I've used it just stamped in orange and then pulled out with the water brush. And then my Be Kind one. And then my Be Kind, where you can't read the Be Kind. Well, not very well. I need to go around it with a black pen. I need to sort it out because it's bugging me. But, right, let me flip the camera. Let me come back down here. And let me get rid of that horrible light. Okay, so thank you ever so much for joining me. There was a lovely lot of you for the 9 o'clock this morning. And I hope you enjoyed the two cards. So the one that I made originally and the one that we did with the embossing on, which, very luxurious. Okay, I also wanted to just mention that 2 more stockists have been added to the list. So Hixie Soft Crafts and the Mulberry Bush have now got the Scent with Love in stock as well. In fact, Hixie Soft have got it, and the Mulberry Bush, it's on its way today. So it will be with Kate tomorrow. So, and it's also at Dragon's Papercraft, Craft Stash, Let's Create, Forget Me Not Craft Cabin, Maximum Crafts and Craft Bliss. And it should be in America any day. And also at the end of the week, it will be at Arts and Crafts Online in Australia. Don't forget, if you want some inspiration, there's lots of inspiration over on the Pinterest boards. So pinterest.com/JudieHickeyDesigns.com. No, Judy Hickey Designs. Judy Hickey Designs, not a .com, sorry. And I will post my workshop soon. I think I'm probably going to leave that until next week to post up. But yes, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon. Take care, have a lovely day. Bye-bye.